Hello, food lovers. Get ready for an incredible journey through the world of cheese, a food that has captured the taste buds of millions over the centuries. Today, we'll explore the origins of cheese and how it evolved into what we know and we love today. We will begin our journey in ancient Mesopotamia, a region that today corresponds to the territory of Iraq and parts of Iran, Syria, and Turkey. This area is considered one of the cradles of human civilization, where the first forms of agriculture and animal domestication emerged. This is where our cheese has its roots. For around 5000 BC, herders in Mesopotamia began domesticating sheep and goats. They had to handle large quantities of milk, and without refrigeration methods, the milk often spoiled quickly. To avoid waste, they stored the milk in containers made from animal stomachs which contained an enzyme called renin. Over time, herders noticed that the milk stored in these containers not only turned sour, but also turned into a solid substance. This transformation process occurs due to the coagulation of milk proteins. The renin present in the stomachs of animals helped to coagulate the milk, separating it into solids, the curd, and liquids, the whey. This phenomenon, although an accident, was the first step in the creation of cheese. The earliest records of cheese come from archaeological artifacts and ancient texts. In some archaeological finds in Mesopotamia, fragments of containers have been found that indicate the use of primitive milk coagulation techniques. Additionally, there is evidence that neighboring civilizations such as the Egyptians were also experimenting with the fermentation of milk and the production of rudimentary cheeses. For the shepherds of ancient Mesopotamia, cheese represented a practical solution for preserving milk. Cheese could be stored for longer periods and transported more easily than fresh milk. Thus, cheese became an important part of diet of these early communities, providing a source of protein and nutrients in a more durable form. Thus, cheese was born out of the necessity and creativity of ancient Mesopotamian shepherds. What began as an accident turned into a culinary tradition that would evolve and diversify over the centuries. In the next segment, we will see how the knowledge of cheese evolved, it spread to other civilizations, and evolved further.
After our journey through the early days of cheese in Mesopotamia, we'll move forward to classical antiquity. We'll travel to Greece and Rome, where cheese began to take hold as an important part of diet and culture. In ancient Greece, cheese was widely appreciated and mentioned by several writers and poets. Homer, in his epics Iliad and Odyssey, makes reference to cheese, indicating its common use in the diet of the ancient Greeks. The Greek philosopher Aristotle also mentioned cheese in his writings, suggesting that it was a quality food, valued both for its flavor and its nutritional properties. In ancient Rome, cheese reached a new level of sophistication. The Romans were known for their skill in creating varied cheeses, which were consumed at banquets and parties. Pliny the Elder, a Roman writer and naturalist, described several varieties of cheese and highlighted the importance of cheese in the Roman diet. The Romans also pioneered the addition of herbs and spices to cheese, creating unique and delicious flavors.
Cheese also played an important role in ancient trade. The Romans traded cheese throughout the Mediterranean region, and these trade routes helped spread the knowledge and appreciation of cheese to other cultures. Cheese became a valuable commodity and a status symbol, appreciated not only for its quality, but also for its ability to be stored and transported. Thus, in antiquity, cheese not only established itself as a basic and sophisticated food, but also as a symbol of wealth and culinary innovation. In the next segment, we will see how the cheese tradition transformed and evolved during the Middle Ages, bringing new techniques and flavors to Europe. Now let's travel to the Middle Ages, a period when cheese became more than just a food. It was during these centuries that cheese began to evolve into something close to what we know today, thanks to the dedication and ingenuity of monks. Medieval monasteries played a crucial role in preserving and developing cheese-making techniques. During the Middle Ages, monks not only made cheese for their own consumption, but also documented their techniques meticulously, laying the foundation for many of the traditions that we still know today. Each monastery had its own recipes and methods, resulting in a great diversity of regional cheeses.
It was during this period that some of Europe's most iconic cheeses emerged, many of which are still produced today. Roquefort cheese, for example, which dates back to the 9th century, was one of the first blue cheeses and is still made using techniques. Another example is Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy, which began to be produced in monasteries during the Middle Ages. and is known for its rich flavor and its ability to age for years. In addition to its importance in food, cheese also became a valuable commodity in local economies. Monks sold their cheeses in markets and fairs, which helped finance monastery activities. In some regions, cheese was even used as the exchange currency. This demonstrates how cheese was intertwined with the economic and social life of medieval Europe. The cheese-making practices developed in the monasteries were not restricted to their walls. As knowledge was shared, many rural communities adopted and adapted these techniques, which led to the creation of distinctive regional cheeses. These traditions were passed down from generation to generation, solidifying cheese's position as a fundamental part of European cultures.
The Middle Ages were a period of great innovation for cheese thanks to the work of monks and the spread of the techniques they developed. In the next segment, we'll look at how cheese continued to evolve during the Industrial Revolution and how it became the global food that we know today.
As the world entered the era of the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, cheese, like many other products, underwent a radical transformation. This period of technological innovation not only changed the way cheese was produced, but also how it was distributed and consumed globally. With the introduction of new machines and technologies, cheese production expanded rapidly. Until then, cheese was mainly produced by hand, on farms and monasteries. But the Industrial Revolution brought mechanization, allowing cheese to be produced in machines for milking cows. Processing milk and curing cheese began to appear, making production more efficient and less dependent on manual labor.
One of the greatest advances of this time was pasteurization, developed by Louis Pasteur in 1864. Pasteurization involves heating milk to eliminate pathogenic microorganisms, ensuring that the cheese was safe for consumption and increasing its shelf life. This allowed the cheese to be transported over greater distances without losing quality, helping to expand the market beyond local borders.
With improvements in transportation, such as the introduction of railroads and steamships, cheese began to cross continents. Local varieties began to gain global recognition, and the exchange of techniques and flavors intensified. Cheese, which was once a regional specialty, it began to be consumed around the world, helping to spread the culture and food traditions of different countries. While industrialization revolutionized cheese production, it also brought challenges. There was a risk of losing the unique characteristics of artisanal cheeses in favor of mass production. However, in response to this, many producers began to focus on preserving the traditional techniques, creating a new appreciation for artisanal cheeses, and protecting designations of origin. This movement has helped keep the diversity and quality of traditional cheeses alive, even in an increasingly industrialized world.
The Industrial Revolution brought both innovation and challenges to cheese production. Thanks to pasteurization and mechanization, cheese became a global food, but the appreciation of local traditions ensured that cheese's artisanal roots were never forgotten. In the next segment, we will see how cheese continues to evolve in the modern world, combining tradition and innovation. Today, cheese is one of the most loved and consumed foods in the world. It has gone through millennia of history, evolving and adapting to cultural and technological changes. But how does cheese position itself in the modern world? And what does the future hold for this such beloved food? In the 20th century, globalization led to the even greater diversification of cheese. Thanks to advances in transportation and communications, people around the world have access to a huge variety of cheeses, from the most traditional options to the most exotic. Cheeses from specific regions such as Camembert from France, Gouda from the Netherlands, and Cheddar from England have become available globally, allowing different cultures to experience and appreciate each other's traditions. At the same time, the 21st century has brought significant innovations in cheese production. Science and technology have allowed the creation of new types of cheese and the improvement of traditional techniques. An example of this is the emergence of vegan cheeses made from plants, which have attracted the attention of environmentally and health-conscious consumers. Additionally, controlled fermentation and specific bacterial cultures are used to create unique flavors, taking cheese to new frontiers of flavor and texture. In parallel with industrialization, there is a growing appreciation for artisanal and local cheese. Increasingly, consumers are seeking products that reflect the authenticity and cultural heritage of their regions. Food fairs and farmers markets have thrived, where small producers showcase their unique cheeses, made using traditional methods. This movement not only preserves the cheese's legacy, but also supports local economies and promotes sustainability. The future of cheese promises to be as dynamic as its history. With continued innovation, we can expect new types of cheese, made with unexpected ingredients and revolutionary processes. At the same time, the connection between the consumer and the origin of food is strengthening, with an increasing focus on transparency and quality. The search for healthy and sustainable foods can also lead to new trends in the world of cheese, while traditions are maintained and reinvented. From its humble origins in Mesopotamia to its status as a global food, cheese has traveled an extraordinary journey. It is a testament to human ingenuity, adapting and evolving through the ages. And as we move into the future, the cheese will continue to be an essential part of our lives, whether on a banquet table or as a simple snack. Cheese, with its rich history and promising future, will always have a special place in our culture and in our hearts. Thank you so much for joining us on this fascinating journey through the history of cheese. We hope you learned something new, and that the next time you taste your favorite cheese, you remember the rich history behind it. Don't forget to like the video, leave your comment with suggestions, and share with your friends who are also passionate about cheese. And of course, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our next videos.